Hello everyone, Neonstar here, and it's time to talk about 4th grade. This is the next part in my school stories series, but don't worry, you don't have to watch these in order. If you enjoyed this though, feel free to binge the rest. I'll link the whole playlist in the comments and the description for you. Also sorry if I sound a bit scratchy, I'm fighting off the beginning stages of a cold. The first class I was in that year was with this female teacher. I was with most of the same kids from last year, like X, who I talked about in my 3rd grade video. I don't remember much from this, because pretty quickly into the school year, another 4th grade teacher had come to the school. So the school decided that kids from other 4th grade classes would be transferred over to his class, so he wouldn't be teaching an empty room. And gosh golly gee, guess who was chosen to be transferred over? This guy. It's always me, isn't it? This new teacher I'll call Mr. M. He was the first male teacher I'd ever had, and we didn't get along too well. I was pretty stressed out being transferred again after I was transferred in 1st grade. Not to mention, X and I were separated, which sucked since I considered him a friend. So I was not happy with the situation, and Mr. M didn't help very much. He was a crotchety older man who didn't really listen to his students. He was still better than Miss B, though. Him and I clashed plenty of times. Once I pretended I didn't know what a stove was. We were doing a worksheet about Benjamin Franklin and his inventions. I forgot to mention his stove, and Mr. M was reprimanding me. I quickly thought up a lie and said I didn't know what a stove was. Yeah. He obviously didn't believe me, and I started crying. I said that I'd never entered the kitchen and had never heard of a stove before. I'm still haunted by my own stupidity. One time I had argued with him after school. He told me to wait in the portable and left. I waited and eventually started to panic. I thought he locked the door, and I was freaking out that he wasn't coming back. I tried the door, and it was actually unlocked. I met up with my dad, and the incident wasn't ever mentioned again. Another incident was when I was squeezed between some bookshelves. He had been scolding me, and told me to sit in the corner of the room for reading time. The corner was this tight spot between the wall and a bookshelf. Or it was a spot between 2 bookshelves. I can't actually remember which one it was. But I was being stubborn, so I squeezed myself in the tight spot for 5 minutes until recess. It really hurt, and it felt like my ribs were breaking. Stubbornness was my greatest weakness. One time I hurt my foot and was limping around. Mr. M yelled at me for faking it. He was mad that I hadn't said something earlier, and assumed I just started limping around. I was in tears, and luckily I was fine enough to get home. This was also the year I was moved into the gifted program. The first teacher I had seen the potential in me. So some days I was taken to an empty room and took a couple tests. I passed the test, and I was put into the gifted program. Basically, once a week, I was taken to a class for the day where there were more difficult subjects. I'll probably dive more into gifted in the next school stories video, but I just wanted to mention that I was in gifted this year. Which makes the stove incident from earlier even more embarrassing. Now let's get more into the social aspect. I had grown distant from X when the class was transferred. I met this girl who I'll call P this year. She was who I'd consider my best friend this year. I don't remember much about her, but she was cool. I also met a tall girl who I'll call Amy. She was the only girl taller than me. At least that I can remember. The Navajo girl who I said was in every class I was, well, she was in my original class and was transferred with me. She was pretty cool too. This is also the return of Kylie, who I mentioned in my kindergarten video. Also returning is Robert, my bully, also mentioned in the kindergarten video. This year, I tried to start a cult. I hadn't really been that successful at making friends in the previous years, so I thought that creating an exclusive group of friends would gather interest. So I created a group called the CAT. What did it stand for? I don't know. I just like cats. I even made up people and put their names on the list of members. I made up backstories and designs and pretended all these people were my friends. I got a couple people to sign up, but they didn't really listen to me, or really have much interest in the CAT at all. My first failed cult. This was also the year I heard more about popular trends. I heard about Minecraft for the first time in this class. I wasn't all that interested in it, though. I generally didn't take to anything I saw as popular. I was a hipster before it was cool. I eventually came around to it in the 6th grade. I also heard of the cup song. Kylie had introduced me to it, and she claimed she invented it. She was pretty popular, so I just believed that everyone was copying her. It took me years to realize that she was bluffing. This was also the year I annoyed everyone I knew by saying Nya times 7. Or as it's more commonly known, Nyancat. I also sang Rolling Girl to the best of my English-speaking ability. I sang these all the time and used it as an opportunity to try and introduce my fellow classmates to Vocaloid and Utau. I don't think I did a very good job, though. I'd like to go on a short detour and talk about a girl I haven't talked about yet. You see, I met this girl at recess once, towards the beginning of elementary school. We'll call her Lily. She was pretty interesting to talk to, and I considered her a good friend. The only thing I really remember about her was that she was held back one year. This year, I remember we were playing in the grassy field when she asked me to turn around for a bit. I did for a little bit, but then my curiosity got the best of me. When I turned around, I saw Lily whispering to this girl and laughing while looking over her shoulder at me. I may not be well versed in body language and social situations, but even I could tell what was happening. I stormed away, and the next day I confronted her. "Why were you talking behind my back?" "I wasn't. I clearly saw you doing it." "Well, I didn't know it was wrong." Yeah. This was like a week after everyone got an anti-bullying presentation where talking behind someone's back was explicitly pointed out as bad. Our friendship was permanently damaged, and the next year I refused to talk to her at all. It was very painful not only to lose a friend, but to have them betray you like that. I fought with Amy once, too. We were talking about grades when I mentioned the fact we only have 12 grades, 13 if you count college. Amy lost her mind. She insisted that there were only 11 grades and 12th grade was college. She said her older brother was in college, so she knew what she was talking about. My older sister was in 11th grade, so I knew she was wrong. She and I got into a screaming match even after Mr. M confirmed I was right. I still wonder where the hell she even heard that there were only 11 grades. Now this is one that still keeps me up at night. At recess this year, one particular sandbox was reserved for freeze tag. I didn't play it often, but one time I was very excited. I was running alongside this guy from my class. I ended up hitting his legs with my lunchbox to get there first. My lunchbox was just this fabric bag. I wasn't even hitting him with the side where my juice bottle was, and there were only plastic sandwich bags left inside. He ended up yelling at me for hurting him, and I collapsed onto the ground and cried. Some kids tried to ask what was wrong, but I was too overwhelmed to really answer. I ended up in the hallway between the door and the class, while they held a trial to figure out what to do with me. I could feel the hatred from the class envelop me for beating up some poor kid. I was so upset that I ended up getting a stomach ache. I was sent home by the nurse, and my dad and I went by the class to pick up my stuff. Mr. M told my dad what I did, and I was upset because I was going to break the news to him in the car. I know that it sounded like a typical kid excuse, but I actually was. The shame and fear of public execution still haunts me. Another time I was yelled at was at our Christmas party. It was a gift exchange, and I was given this plush frog. My sister loved frogs, and I had no tact. So I said to this kid's face I was going to give it to my sister. He flipped out and started to yell at me. Things settled down when he said my sister was going to pull it apart, and I told him my sister was 16. He apparently thought she was a toddler, and was pacified when he found out she wasn't. In the last hour of school, I bent down to pick something up, and Robert said, "Ew, I saw your tatas." By the way, this shirt was up to my collarbone, so he couldn't see anything. I told another girl what he said, and he ended up being vilified for looking down my shirt. I think Mr. M even scolded him for it. Ah, sweet revenge. My birthday was also pretty disastrous. I had brought cupcakes and wore a nice dress. I handed out the cupcakes and announced that, if you don't want a cupcake, please put it back in the tray so I can take it home. I was poor and didn't like wasting food. There was this one girl who wanted a purple cupcake, but I told her no. You know, I already gave her a cupcake and they didn't taste any different. This pissed her off and she tried to just throw her cupcake in the trash. This upset me pretty badly. Then after I sat down and had everyone sing happy birthday, this girl grabbed her cupcake and smashed the frosting into my face. Her cupcake was also suddenly purple, so I guess she switched it out behind my back. I sat there in stunned silence until someone spoke up. Oh great, now she's gonna cry. I wasn't gonna cry, but hearing that everyone thought I was a crybaby ironically made me cry. I ran and cried in the hallway. The girl defended herself by saying that she does it all the time with her family, so she didn't get what the big deal was. When I came back out, Mr. M sat us down for a talk. He scolded us for always turning on a single student. I chose this moment to say that there was purple frosting all over my dress. Everyone immediately turned on the girl from earlier, which just ended up proving Mr. M's point. And that's all for today. Honestly, I didn't even know that I had so much material for this video. Join me next time for a discussion about my 5th grade experience, where I'll talk about gifted classes, more betrayal, and an active scooter lockdown. Subscribe if you want to be notified when that comes out, and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of your day, everyone! Bye!